Basically, this is a fun game, right? And we're doing this. So I'm about to pull for Poppy, okay? Oops. Okay. Pull for Poppy, which is it's a cool name, Poppy. Maybe one of you guys has that name, and if you do, you can't lose in life. It's a great name. They might not hire you to be an auditor or something with that name, but it's a great name, very whimsical. All right, so let's pull your message card first. Did I even talk about who we're doing here? This is for Leo, and I love Leos. Leos, I get the best reading. Leos are like my spirit animal, huh? They are. Rawr. I love Leos. They're great. They're like the child of the zodiac, and children are my absolute favorites. And that's why I have this sign on my refrigerator that says 50% of our Congress should be children. And I really believe that. Not young children, but anywhere from 12 to 14, 11 to 14. And they really know what's important. And it's the world that they're going to be living in longer than us. So I just think it would only be fair that, well, let me just keep my mouth shut. All right, so spirit messages for our lions, our Leos. Hope you guys asked a question. Okay. Goddess of the moon. We know something's hidden. I just don't know from whom or from what yet. I don't have anything coming in right now. So I shuffled the heck out of these. 9 of Cups. That's what you're starting out with. Maybe you have some sort of proprietary... I don't know. You're just really satisfied with yourself right now. You just feel, you just got a wish. You got a wish. You really stepped into something wonderful here. And I don't even know if this was something you expected. But you're wearing the ruby red slippers and you've got 2 ladies doing your hair. I mean, you're feeling pretty good. Let's find out what else is going on. And by the way, if you don't have hair, that's cool. Just take what resonates. Six of Swords. Okay. I wonder if somebody got information about something that they're involved in, I don't know, from spirit or from a friend of a friend, and got out of somewhere before something went down. So I've known people who've done stuff like that, not like a Martha Stewart situation where you do some stupid offload all your stocks or something, and then no, this is more there's a new director, there's a new COO, and your uncle knows him, and you just knows what kind of person he is, and you're you know what, I put in however many years here, I can totally okay, so the Leo sign just fell, so I put in so many years. This might be about retirement. This might be somebody who's just trying to hold out for retirement because they want to maximize their pension. And, you could be one of the more senior associates at this place, and maybe you just know a lot. Because, the Tower. I knew this. The economy's crazy. This is totally a good tower. If you please do not worry. but you're a little sly fox, because I'm getting the vibe here. This might not be about work at all. It's could totally be about family dynamics. This could even be in your community, in your like religious, community. But you're like in a good spot, so you feel really prideful, like not prideful in a bad way, but you're proud of yourself. So like there's something that you do that you never thought you'd have this opportunity, and here you are doing this thing that makes you so happy. Then it's like all of a sudden, like you have to get to safety. So I don't know, I'm not picking up on why. I think that you made some very strategic moves so that you could avoid a tower. That could have happened, maybe it didn't happen yet. You may be wise enough, or maybe you just even have family members or friends who, already are retired, or they've been around, maybe they've done the corporate thing or whatever, and maybe there is something that they're changing. A good example would be like when a private medical practice goes and affiliates with a hospital, and now like everything has to be through this certain platform. They've got to retrain everybody. All of the calls are getting routed to a call center where people are impersonal, and it's like, you did something to assure that you would be able to hold on to what you have, whether it's being able to work from home a few days a week and like just be with your kids, or whatever, meditate to your tarot, whatever it is. You dodged a bullet. If this is your message, you dodged a bullet. And I have a feeling that like you have some psychic abilities that you might, maybe you know about them, maybe you do tarot, but you have like some insider information, not like the illegal kind, maybe it was. That's not what I'm picking up. It's more like, I've been here, I know the politics of this place, I happen to know this person that they got. She used to work at a nonprofit and she never would call anybody back, and she's a great talker, but she doesn't actually deliver. And you were like, I'm out of here. This whole place is going to be a mess. Guess what? I'm doing X, Y, and Z. We're going to downsize. We're moving to some place that has lower taxes. I'm going to start growing, whatever. This is a real change of life, because you're going from a place that you were really comfortable and maybe even coasting a little bit because, you put your dues, you paid your dues, put your time in, but like you pulled the plug a little bit, sooner, because you definitely did the right thing. So it's a good tower for you, bad tower for something else. So that's a good message for you, Poppy people of the Leo variety. I think we're gonna do the shoe next. So be right back. Okay, Leo, we're back for the shoe. Let's hope it goes better than the last shoe in Taurus. Sounds like the people in that reading had to pay for camp, which is like crazy. I don't know. Things are going to get better. Things are going to get better because we're going to make them better. All right. That one, let's get a message card. I do feel like this is a major transformational time with Taurus, and I'm pretty sure you don't know much about my channel because I think it's only my daughter and my friend Sue that watch it. But where was I going with that? It's something that I say a lot. It'll come back to me. Might not come back to me. All right, let's get your message card. Archangel Ariel. She's the second chakra. Okay. Guys, I have to look this up. I wish somebody would be here right now because, truth be told, I started my spiritual practices by accident, critically ill in the hospital, having no means to communicate or move or do anything. And that's how I started picking up messages from the ICU nurses, and then it kind of progressed from there. So like, I don't know a whole lot about astrology. I probably know as much as you do. Because, I would provide readings without cards. I would just use a couple of angel cards and then just like scribble on a paper and free associate. So like, I really am trying to learn this discipline. I do like it. I feel like you get more information this way, and it's also easier on me because I don't have to do as much, like, I don't know, it's energetic work, I guess, because I'm like, working with spirit. It's like we're working together. But my point is, I just want to take a quick look and like refresh my memory a little bit on exactly like what she does, and I need more information. And it'll take like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Here it is. Okay. And I do this a lot anyway. I just read things over and over again because like sometimes I understand them from a different perspective. Okay, so the number 36 or 9 can be significant to you. And since I have it out, we'll just read it because it's probably important. All right. Intimacy and creativity. So the second chakra vibrates in the energy of the beautiful angel Ariel. She sends a bright orange energy, promoting inspired creativity and greater comfort with intimacy. When this card appears upright, it's urging you to get creative. Okay. Interesting. Let yourself reach out into unexplored areas of self-expression and new projects that may have a more creative approach. I think they might be saying that you guys need to like spice it up in the bedroom, but I could be wrong. This is also a time when the energies of closeness with others, and nurturing yourself, can flow more freely. You can now open yourself to emotional intimacy. Okay, forget it. And it might be coming your way. So nurture yourself and be ready to receive the affection and camaraderie of the resonant souls around you. Okay, that's a great message, and kind of similar to what we were just saying about like something about that, like being open. All right, let's find out like what you have to be more open about. But that's a message that's been coming across in all different ways, that we have to start like uniting and like not, like if you're doing tarot on YouTube and you're not liking other tarot readers readings, if you think they're decent, like I'm not sure what that's about, but I like anyone who puts themselves out there like that. I give them a like. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And I also subscribe to anyone that I think has a good reading, because that's kind of what I would want. So I don't know if everyone's like that, because like I don't know who follows me, and I have like, I don't know, 20 followers or something. So it's like not a big deal for me now, but I just hope that people are supportive of each other, on this platform, because that's where I'm coming from. And I felt like this would be like a place where it would be, spiritual community. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone sucks. But I hope that people are supporting each other, because we really do have to like come together, We cannot be like-minded people like us. We can't be separate anymore. Like we really have to work together. Spirit's being picky. Hanged Man again. Okay. Get some right. Gotta be kidding me. I shuffled this deck 3 times. I'm gonna use these cards because it's in a different order, and there's so many cards in this deck. You guys, I split this deck in half, shuffle each half, then I combine the halves. Like I put out 4 pieces, and then I mix it up, and then I shuffle again, and then I do the 3 sections, and like I really shuffled, but I did get the Hanged Man and the King of Brooms, which was in our last reading. So I don't think that's an accident, and I don't like to change things that come out. I just don't. Okay. Right. Okay. So you got Hanged Man, King of Wands, and 6 of Swords. Is this not the same exact message that we got before? Okay. I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to focus on this. Okay. I think you were scared in the situation. You were scared. You were scared to speak up or have confrontation. You were avoiding that. You have to trust yourself more. You were very strategic here, though. I mean, maybe you pulled the trigger at the right point. You got involved in a situation of some kind. I don't know if this was like a lease that you were in, or contract that you took, like a short-term job, or like maybe you even like took like, I don't know, an exchange student, and like you did something that you don't typically do, and you had a feeling about it, but then you just dismissed it as just being like overly cautious, or like, yeah, well, I always like to have control over certain things, so let's go with it. I do think that you might have not listened to your intuition. So you had to act out of character a little bit because you didn't react right away. This may be a neighbor, a family member, or a coworker who underestimated you again. But also didn't see your like how resourceful you are, or like how like Leo chooses to be nice. They don't have to be nice because they're like weak. Okay, every time they're nice to you, they're choosing to be nice to you. They can be major assholes. I love Leos, but it's true. Yeah, so but like Leo, Leo can be like, sometimes their pride can be an issue, so I don't know if they lean into their intuition a whole lot, especially if you're like a masculine. You got out of something. You got out of something, and I feel like you helped someone else too. So there may have been another person who was maybe even like more affected than this particular situation than you were. Maybe that's why you didn't do anything, because like you were kind of observing it, hadn't affected you yet. But you did take a stance. You may have talked to HR. You may have started a petition about one of your neighbors. You may have had to talk to a teacher at one of your kids' schools or something that was just, you didn't like what they were doing, their practices. I think that going forward, something that will make you even more effective is if you do really start to lean into your intuition, which is very good. Lean into your intuition, and listen to it. Like, don't wait until the shit hits the fan. Like, listen to it. Because I do think that, like, you did have to act a little out of character. Like, so I do think that, like I said, you choose to be nice. It's not like you can't defend yourself. It's not like you shy away from confrontation, but you don't love it. You're, like, a fun person. But I think you had to, like, you had to, like, give somebody, like, a talking to about something. And you were sure about it because, you were watching for a bit. You freed yourself from that hangman position. Definitely became unstuck. I do feel like there was conflict involved in this. I do think that maybe even the person that you're helping, for some reason I feel like this is a spouse, but maybe it's not. It could be a relative. But the person that you were helping, I'm also picking up that, like, they weren't, like, they were even maybe a little bit critical about, like, how you handled the situation. You're like, really? Like, you were doing nothing, and I came in and, like, fixed the situation, and you don't like the way I handled it? Like, where'd you get off? But you are definitely learning how to, like, this is beautiful, because, like, not only are you, like, leaning into your intuition, but you're also, like, really managing your temper and your reactivity. And, like, you're investing your energy wisely, Leo. I think if there was anybody who doubted you before, whether it was your own, usually it's like the people that are closest to you that mess with you the most. This could be your wife. This could be your sister. This could be your brother, whatever it is. This could be your best friend that you were roommates with in college and now you guys still talk, or whatever it is. But, like, you kind of helped them and they were, like, a jerk about it. But you, like, gave them mercy. Whomever this situation was involving, where you kind of knew that it's not so great and you stuck around, that's what this is about. Like, Spirit is saying, this is not a big situation, but it's like a minor situation. There's only one major arcana in here, and it's the Hanged Man. It's not like this is probably the process in which you learn to really restrain yourself. This may be the first time where you didn't, I'm not going to say fly off the handle, but you certainly make your opinions known. And you're not going to do anything that anyone doesn't want you to do, Leo. You're not. Like, you're going to do, if you have to be in it, you're going to do the bare minimum if you're not into it. If you're passionate about it, you're going to work at it all the time. You're going to be perfectionistic. You're going to be the best at it. But if you don't love doing it, not going to be fun to work with or be with. And this is, even if you have a job where, like, you get paid well and it's like you can't really leave it because you got kids in college or whatever your story is, this is going to change the dynamic in your personal life and in your professional life, because you haven't really used this. You have been more of, like, an evidence-based person. Like, and I almost think that it takes a hell of a lot of evidence for you to, I think you, like, really give people the benefit of the doubt, right? That's changing. I think you're, I think that you were almost at the 7 of Swords. Like, you were almost like, how the hell am I going to get out of here? I'm out. Like, but you saved it. So this is also a victory for you. You guys are having a great couple of months anyway. So I don't know. I'm really happy that you had, like, somewhat decent messages. If you liked this, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have 444 views. I mean, not views, but views would be great. Subscribers by Halloween. Okie dokie, Leo. We're doing Apple now. I can't help. This is not Spirit. This is me. Every time I hear apple or sea apple. For some reason now I think of like the Holy Grail and just like that whole, I don't think it's a conspiracy, I think it's true, but that whole like Knights of Templar, like hiding Mary Magdalene so that she could have her baby in like secrecy, and they hid their sarcophagus. So maybe that's relevant to you. Maybe you're like, you know, sacred bloodline or San Royal. I don't know. But I always think of that. I don't think so. I always think of that when I see an apple, which is just weird. I think that was like part of it. Maybe they were just talking about like relativity or gravity, or was that Isaac Newton? I don't know. Okay, so let's see what we got here for you. Leos. I would not mess with a Leo right now. This is like your time. I wouldn't mess with a Leo on a good day, but like right now, like just be careful. My best friend, she's on the other side now, but she's still my best friend. She looks after my daughter a lot, but she was a Leo, and like, yeah, I mean, she looked like a Catholic schoolgirl who played guitar and, you know, like wrote poetry, and like she seemed pretty harmless, but woo, I don't want to mess with her. She'd break her guitar right over your head. So music might be significant. I don't know. We're gonna pick the message card first. I think that works better. You guys must be pretty bummed that it's not your season anymore, because I'm sure you want it to be Leo season 12 days of the month, because you guys like don't mind attention. Don't want to admit it, but you don't mind it. I love Leos. Some of my favorite people are Leos. I feel like they're very versatile. All right, ooh, that flew out. Victory, Leo. Huh. Victory. Yeah. You must have done something good in Leo season. You must have struck while the iron was hot. Let's see. If we get something with the Cowardly Lion, I'm just gonna go bananas. By the way, if you want me to give you a lesson in shuffling, I will do that. I'm an expert shuffler. Seven of Swords. The Hanged Man. Oh, this is interesting. I like where this is going. Now, I don't pay any attention to these three cards, the order. Like, I just kind of put them together and see what I get intuitively. When you get a card like Victory to start out with, like, you could just take a deep breath, because even if it's a bumpy road to get there, like, we already know the ending. That's why I like starting with that, because I don't like surprises. Nope. 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 Okay. This is the one. Okay. Okay. This could be somebody named Victoria. This could be something that happened in October, something that started in October. Whoever this is about, somebody wasn't being honest with you, or you were in a situation where you weren't privy to everything that was going on. And I don't know if this is romantic, work, family. I'm not so sure yet. I might have to pull another card on this, but I do know like the you know what's happening here. And it's a little bit about like you know, being a little like hyper vigilant, you know, and defensive. And I think you had reason to be. I don't think you were like just being overreacting, you know, but you kind of are comfortable there. because maybe that is your comfort zone. Maybe you grew up with like a lot of chaos, and like that's like your thing. Like you're like the calm person during chaos. So when a lot of people would have fought back in this particular situation or retaliated, you really restrained yourself. And I think that this is not typical for you, because I feel like, a lot of things don't bother you because you really are confident and you know what you have to offer. Like you're not the type of person who's like checking out other people's like social media to see what they're doing. Like you could give a shit less, because you guys are like very original, and super happy in your own skin, comfortable in your own skin, self-deprecating. Like I just love Leos. They're also like, not somebody you want to mess with either. So in this particular situation, you were aware that, that something was not right. You didn't like flee maybe when other people did. This could even be like a relationship where you were with somebody that you had been with for a while, and maybe you guys were engaged or taking it to the next level, and you just had a feeling that, your partner was like not being 100% honest with you about something that would be like a deal breaker for you. But you restrained yourself and like you just stayed and you didn't push because you knew you wouldn't get the truth if you did it that way. And you like hung in there, and it had to have been torture. But you found out what you needed to know, for better or for worse. You found out what you needed to know, and you acted right away. So let me give you an example. You've been engaged, or you're with someone who, you love a lot, and you really had a lot of trust in them. And then, you found out that they have like $60,000 in credit card debt or something, but you didn't tell them that you knew that, because you were like, what else are they hiding? That is an example. But another example, of course, this is like a common one, could just be that, you're with someone and they keep spending a lot of time at their friend's house or staying, at work late or whatever it is. And you were like, nah, can't be. But you were like, you didn't go in like, like Karen, with like a gun from Goodfellas, like, like you really like restrained yourself, and you were like, let's see, maybe I'm just, this is stakes are too high, I'm gonna like be cautious. So maybe for months, you just kind of, I'm not saying like you had a private investigator, although you might have, but you just paid attention to things. Paid attention, because if I feel like the other person was like being, a bit like, a little bit narcissistic. I'm using that word colloquially, because it's like I'm not a therapist. But like somebody who just doesn't matter unless they get caught. Like whatever they do, as long as they don't get caught, like they don't really care. I'm really feeling like this could be somebody who has multiple issues, maybe with spending, maybe they've had infidelity issues, or maybe they just need a lot of attention. Or maybe they drink too much, or whatever it is, you left, okay, or you demanded that things change, and make this, if any of this resonates with you, it's not going to be exactly like what I'm saying here, but it could be similar. I don't know if these people could continue to work on this together or be in this relationship together. I feel like they do. I feel like, you restrained yourself, but when you took action, and this doesn't matter about the gender. This is just about being, really in control of your actions, being confident, decisive about going ahead. I know that like, the Knight of I was gonna say brooms, of wands can be a little impulsive, but not the King of Wands. The King of Wands is somebody that it's a good catch. So I get why You hung around. You worked it out. I think you handled this really maturely, like with a lot of emotional intelligence, whatever this thing was that was being hidden from you, that you had to kind of like go like undercover a little bit, like, you know, maybe not asking questions when you're dying to ask questions, or like not opening the mail on purpose because like you need more information before you like figure it all out. Whatever you did, I think that, you know, you were able to preserve the other person's confidence. Like you didn't emasculate them or put that person down. If it's you know, if it's a woman, you know, or whomever it is, you didn't like demean them over this. You kind of came up with the truth. You came correct. You were like, listen, I am not stupid. I know I've just been hanging around here, not asking questions, but like I know what's going on. And like, here's the deal. Like, it stops now or this is over type deal. And if this is in a family situation, you know, this is like, if you have a child, maybe a teenager or something, and they're telling you one thing, you're thinking another. You don't want to be like a helicopter parent, but you figure out that, you know, they're not going where they said they were going to go, or, you know, they're dabbling in something they shouldn't be, or they're not going to practice, or whatever it is. But instead of like handling it with anger or anything like that, you were assertive. You were very assertive. You set the boundary, and for now it looks like it's going to work. But I also think it's going to generalize to other areas of your life where you weren't as assertive. I think your victory is that you trust yourself for sure. Not that you didn't trust yourself before, because I think Leos do trust themselves, and they have great intuition. They're great judges of character, Leos, which is why a couple of my best friends happen to be Leos. And some of my favorite people are Leos. I just love Leos. A lot. I can't say that enough. All right, so I love you guys. But yeah, like this is like not like ripping off your t-shirt in the parking lot, like fighting someone. This is like, you know, this is like you giving an ultimatum and actually having like a concrete plan. Like, so here's the deal. I'm gonna take money out of my 401k and I'm gonna buy you at home, and we're done. And like, this is a deal breaker for me. And I've already started talking to this person and that person, and I just can't do this anymore. I don't care what your truth is. I already know it. Don't need to hear it from you. And I think in this situation, this person listened to you. And I think it's going to be like a long-term thing. This might be the first time that you ever asserted yourself in this way. And this is a personal victory to you, because you'll be able to do this in other places, with friends, at work. You're going to be able to set people's expectations a lot easier. And I'm not saying that you really struggle with that, but when you love somebody or when you're personally involved with them, it is not easy to hold them accountable for things sometimes that, you know, they can't help, or but you did that. You like stood up for yourself. Spirit's rewarding you. I feel like the reward is going to be something totally out of left field too. Like, not just that maybe, you know, you're going to be in an honest relationship where you guys check in with each other more, and, you know, you didn't leave and you stuck by this person. So like maybe that was progress. And maybe, hey, if something happens again, because, you know, like progress is not like this. It's incremental, like it's up and down, right? Maybe they're going to think twice, you know, like before they do something like that, because they know like time's up. Like, you know, this person was going to walk out of me last time. Like, I can't screw this up. So I think this was a great intervention, not only for you in terms of your self-advocacy skills and sticking up for yourself, but it may have saved this person too. So yeah, great message.